Okay, let me introduce the second paper, Bhalla and Moskowitz, Yoga for Everybody, a critical analysis of the evolution of yoga representation across 4 decades in Yoga Journal. And this paper received the top faculty paper award from the magazine.
We were just third place.
Third place. Sorry.
But still very happy to come in third.
Hi, I'm Nandini, Bhalla. And before I start this presentation, I want to say thank you, Dr. Campbell. It's for the history paper. And thank you so much for guiding and shaping this topic. I wanted to trace the history of modern yoga, basically, through the lens of Yoga Journal magazine. And Dr. Campbell helping me shaping this paper and how I can do it in terms of history. However, he also suggested to change this topic to social sciences, and I approached Dr. Lee Moskowitz. I was her TA, and thank you so much for adopting this paper and making it this better. You're amazing, of course. So, as the topic says, Yoga for Everybody, a critical analysis of the evolution of yoga representation across 4 decades in Yoga Journal. I'm from India. I understand what the yoga as a discipline is. I practice yoga in India, and when I see yoga here, I found major changes. And then we decided to look into Yoga Journal magazine, and this is when we are actually digging into data. This is what we found. The way it was in 1976 when Yoga Journal was started, and the way it changed. And it's not like that like now in 2014. It's since like 2000s. It's still like same yoga women bodies are shown in different postures. But here you see a reverend man who is a teacher, yoga mentor. So I can see the differences. So basically my paper is about journey from this to this, through the lens of Yoga Journal covers. So basic purpose is we use linguistic and visual theory, frame analysis, and we try to see how Yoga Journal covers portrayed, evolved in terms of presentation from yoga as a discipline to attain holistic health to yoga as a commercialized form of exercise, and especially catering towards the slim white woman. And that's what we dig further into it. So a little bit about the history of yoga. It started 5,000 years ago, and many yoga gurus has a prominent role in popularizing yoga in the US and especially Western world. So I'm not digging much into it, so especially few names which is like really important here, especially Sri Krishnamacharya. His disciple is Iyengar, and we all know Iyengar yoga pretty much very popular here, especially postural form of yoga, physical form of yoga. And also, in the beginning, yoga was taught only to men tradition. Women had no role into it. So Krishnamacharya was the one who broke that tradition and thought that women has the potential to teach yoga and practice yoga. So he chose Indira Devi, a practitioner, first woman practitioner. He talked to her, and she was the one who talked to many celebrities, which I mentioned some names here: Jennifer Jones, Marilyn Monroe, Gloria Stevenson. And further, this tradition propagated in the US. Another prominent events are like Beatles went to India, especially in Himalayas in 1968. And when they did something, world followed them. And recently, yoga saw a big day in 2015 when International Day of Yoga was celebrated, in which 192 countries participated. This was a huge event. And also in 2016, Yoga Journal study has mentioned that almost 36 million people practiced yoga in 2016. And the market is really huge, 16 billion money has been spent in yoga market, which is a huge money. It shows yoga is growing and is a big market in US. So in terms of method of research, we looked into 40 years I mentioned before. So we chose every third cover. All covers are available online in Google Images. I printed them all and chose every third cover and collated together. And then we looked everything on the cover, including pictures, images, graphic, any kind of written word, which is captions, headline, titles, everything on the cover. And then for make easier for analysis, we divided into 3 time periods: 70s and 80s, which is 1975 from 1989, and then 1990 to 1999, and all 2000s, 2000 to 2016. So me and Dr. Moskowitz, of course, coded it together, like I coded, and then we had reliability, a good understanding on the themes that had been created, and we followed the pursuit further. So the major findings. So we found 7 themes. In fact, we tried to collect it as much as we can. We found 7 themes basically. So yoga for mental and psychological benefit, as we know, for yoga is for a mental reason. That was prominent in the beginning, 1975, and then it vanished, came again in 2000. And yoga is in a form of exercise for toning the body, for shaping the body. In 1980s and again in 2000, and then love is for, yoga is called love, relationship and sexuality. I noticed that yoga was mentioned pretty often in terms of enhancing a relationship on the mat and off the mat. And yoga was again talked in terms of diet, like vegetarian diet. And we know the stereotype. We consider that yoga practitioner eat some kind of special vegan food or vegetarian food. That's what the media representation comes into the picture. And again, in terms of religion, in terms of culture of yoga gurus, in 1970 they were all men and then transformed into all women in 2000. And I will show you more pictures on that. The cover of yoga images also in 1998 onward, they were just slim women on the cover. And these are some of the examples. You can see the captions here, how yoga can enhance your relationship. This kind of things we coded a lot. Even the talking about sex in yoga, but only women were shown on the covers. We noted this very prominently. And it, again, in terms of diet, that was mentioned many times. And this is, I found it very interesting. Yoga was talked in terms of Judaism, Christianity, Jainism, but in which they try to exoticize the yoga. They try to say, oh, yoga is just something spiritual thing. Doesn't belong to here. It belongs to a different category altogether, different world altogether. So that we found it very interesting. And again, I've showed a journey how these images are changing, what it was started and how it became what it became. And you can see this is monotony, like from 1990s and 2000 onward, just same, women bodies are being shown. They are kind of monotony shaped in. And discussion, of course. Through this, we found out that yoga journal presentation in fact reinforced the distortion of yoga, which is a far cry from why yoga was originated, as in a practice of attaining mind, body, and soul, holistic health. So it kind of promulgated that kind of distortion, and it also unearthed many stereotypes still attached with yoga in terms of society that we know now. Of course, in terms of implication, that we know that yoga is a very benign, benign practice. So an inclusive portrayal in which the women with larger bodies, women of color, men, has to take part into it to get benefited. Otherwise, it had just remained a practice for a slim white woman. And when we were coding, in fact, we did not see any women of color. In fact, men were shown very less on the cover. We found why this is even happening. It was not the way it started up in India. So in terms of academic implication, we know that it added up a big work in terms of race, gender, class, feminine research through the lens of yoga. So that's about 7 minutes time.